Last night I saw Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba to the Hashira Training, and of course I'm gonna talk about it. I don't know what that was. Before we get into it, let's do some housekeeping though. Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba to the Hashira Training is a theatrical release of the last episode of Swordsmith Village and the first episode of Hashira Training. So this is an event that is going to be in movie theaters, however, it is not a movie. It is 50% recap and 50% new content. Please know what you're getting yourself into before you go, and let's just not call it a scam this year because it's not. You're scamming yourselves if you think it's a scam. Got it? Capiche? Okay, alright. All jokes aside, the information on it is that it is hitting theaters in the US and Canada today, February 23rd, and it'll hit theaters all over the world. I think it's going to over 100 countries this weekend, next weekend. Check your local listings. I am not an encyclopedia. Please don't ask me. I live in the US. I only really know what's happening here and in Japan. So just use your local listings, look at your local theaters, and see if it's playing near you soon. All right, now that we got the housekeeping out of the way, let's get into the review. And I'm going to split this into two parts. The first part will be spoiler free. However, if you want to go into this event completely blind, I would say put a pin in it and come back because I'm still going to talk a little bit about things to expect. And then I will do a second part that is going to be a lot more spoilery. All right, let's get into it. So opening up, it does open up the same way that last year did with a montage. Last year they did like a little montage of the first season, Mugen Train Entertainment District, with a focus on Tanjiro and Nezuko's story while OP's played. This year was actually ED's playing, and it went all the way through like Swordsmith Village, of course, and then obviously the story is about Tanjiro and Nezuko's journey. However, it focused a lot more on the Hashira in this montage, just because obviously the season being the Hashira Training Arc, there's going to be a lot of Hashira involved. There's no real dialogue during this. It's just like a quick little montage, just reminding you of where the story's gone so far before we dive right into the end of Swordsmith Village. And there's not much to say about that last episode. It's not like it was completely different from what was in the anime. They made small changes here and there, but it was the episode from start to finish. It started right in with Tanjiro's dialogue at the beginning with the organ playing. The timing of that opening sequence felt different to me, and that might just be me because I've watched the episode probably 100 times since it aired. And I can recite his entire little monologue there, and not because I know Japanese. I've just watched it that many times. All jokes aside, I think they like kind of made it faster. I don't know what it was. It wasn't bad. I was just like, this timing feels a little bit different than it was in the episode. But other than that, there wasn't really any changes to the episode. It was really, really well done. It's a beautiful episode. It's my favorite episode of the entire show. So of course I was sitting there crying because it's Tanjiro and Nezuko, and I cry over any angst between the two of them, even if I know Nezuko's gonna be okay. And it was just really, really beautiful. They added a little tiny bit of like extra soundtrack at certain points. One of them that I really remember was when Tanjiro and Hantengu start to fall down the cliff, and Nezuko like launches after them to try and save Tanjiro, and you just hear like all of them shouting. It's just like in the anime there's no soundtrack, it's just shouting. In the theater they added a little like it kind of caught me off guard. I don't know if I liked that addition, but it was like 2 seconds, so it's not really that big of a deal. The episode pretty much played the same from start to finish, except, and this is something that those of you who went last year might know, or those of you who didn't go wouldn't know, but last year the world tour was essentially the 3 episodes completely just like pasted together. There was opening credits, ending credits. On each episode, it had all of the little da 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 da. You know what I mean. And this one does not have any of that. Now, I will say part of it is because they only played the last episode of Swordsmith Village. Last year, they played 10 and 11, but they did not play Kizuna no Kiseki at the end of the Swordsmith Village episode. They just added more soundtrack. It played until you see Tanjiro in the cart like rolling away. The screen went black for 2 seconds and the new episode began. And this just made the overall experience a lot more smooth and a lot more movie-like. I think that they did get a lot of feedback from people all over the world last year that said, like, that was a little weird. You know, when I sit down on my couch and I watch Demon Slayer, well, specifically Demon Slayer, I watch it through. I watch all the credits, no matter how long I'm binging. partially because I love the music of Demon Slayer, partially because I watch anime subbed, so those like credits are my time to like look away from the screen and not have to read words. So I don't mind doing that. I didn't really care, but a lot of people did care, and I got that. It was a little bit weird to sit through credits 3 times in one sitting in a movie theater. But this year there wasn't any of that. They took out the da 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 title cards. They took out like the cut screens where there's art. The only thing that was still there was like the very opening Demon Slayer logo with the name of the arc, which they actually changed in the Swordsmith Village episode to say Kimetsu no Yaiba to the Hashira Training instead of saying it was the Swordsmith Village arc, which was fun. And then it was also in the new episode. But overall, I really, really enjoyed the new episode. I'm not going to go into spoilers quite just yet, but it was a lot of fun. There's quite a bit of anime original content, not as much as I was honestly expecting, but they really took their time with the content that was manga canon. So I'm kind of interested to see where they go with it. I'm really excited where they left off to. I think episode 2 is going to be full of one of my favorite character backstory. I'm so excited. There's gonna be 3 months before I see that, but I'll be okay. There's a lot of really sweet moments, a lot of really silly moments. Most of it is silly. There's an opening sequence that is going to blow your mind. It was so good, and it was all anime original. And I'm gonna drop with this. Last year, when I saw Swordsmith Village episode 1, and I saw Akusa falling through the Infinity Castle, I sat there and I was like, this is why they're releasing this in theaters, because they are flexing right now with this scene of just beautiful animation. That scene alone was deserved to be on the big screen. And honestly, the first like 5-ish minutes of Hashira Training, which is all anime original, I say the exact same thing. They added a lot, and it's a really, really cool scene. It was really exciting. My friends and I were sitting there with our jaws dropped because it was so well done. We were like, what the heck is this? Because we're manga readers and we had never seen this content before. And it was really, really exciting. But also, the episode was just a lot of fun. Oh, and finally, the OP did play at the end of the episode, and it's really, really good. The song is fine. It's not like my favorite yet. I probably need to listen to it a lot more before I'm like, okay, this is really good. But it's also a lot softer because of the way the story is changing. So you can definitely feel after you watch all of this through how much the story is changing. They make it very clear that things are ramping up, and it was an overall really good experience. I'm going to see it again multiple times because hyperfixations are real. Anyway, that's going to wrap up this video about the Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba to the Hashira Training event. I will post a part 2 that's going to dive into some spoilers, and let me know in the comments when you're going to go see it. Alright, this is my part 2 of my Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba to the Hashira Training World Tour event review. It's going to have some spoilers, so this is my spoiler warning to all of y'all. I'm going to talk in length about things that happened in this new episode. So if you want to watch a less spoilery review, go to the video I posted earlier today. And again, we're going to do some housekeeping. The Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba to the Hashira Training World Tour event is a theatrical release of episode 11 of Swordsmith Village and episode 1 of Hashira Training. It comes out to be about 50-50, 50% recap, 50% new content. So know that before you go, and don't call it a scam, because it's not. It's hitting theaters February 23rd in the US and Canada. If you're not located here, check your local listings. I am not an encyclopedia. I don't know where it's airing in any other random country. It might be airing this weekend or the next weekend, so just check and see your local theater and see if it's hitting theaters near you. All right, with that, let's get into the spoilery review. So in my first review, I already talked a lot about the flow of things and how they edited it all together so that it's more of a movie experience. Also, the end of Swordsmith Village is nothing new. That came out in June, so we're going to just dive right into the opening sequence of the Hashira Training episode 1. Oh my god, this was so good! Okay, first of all, I want to say that I did kind of know that there was going to be a sequence like this because Twitter cannot shut their traps when leaks are out, and it's really freaking annoying. But Sanemi and Obanai are essentially chasing after this demon who abducted a woman, and they are led to this like ruin, like castle ruins, where there's hundreds of demons lurking. And that is not normal. And Sanemi mentions it. He's like, why are there so many demons? Like, they don't do this. I've never experienced so many demons in one area. Like, and they clearly are meaning to do that. They weren't fighting over the prey, they were just all going after the demon slayers who were there. And honestly, I just really enjoy this. I like that they added it with Sanemi and Obanai. I think they're like, outside of Gyome, the last two Hashira that we really haven't spent much to any time with. Obviously, Sanemi, we know more about his backstory because of Genya. Obanai, we don't know much about yet in the anime. Sanemi, we don't know much about yet in the anime. And everyone else has gotten their time to shine except for Gyome, but he's going to get time to shine in the Hashira Training Arc, so they didn't need to add him to this. Also, Gyome's breathing, I guarantee you, is going to be a huge reveal in a later season, so they're not going to show it now. But we did get to see wind and serpent breathing, and Ufotable flexing their muscles. They know what they're capable of. They know what they're setting up the audience for in the upcoming arcs, and they were just showing us a little taste of what that's going to be like. This was a really well done scene that really foreshadowed what is to come. We got to see the Infinity Castle once again, and Sanemi and Obanai got to see it, which was really cool. I like that they added that. And it's really just setting us up for a really intense arc that's coming after this arc. And they're just reminding us, hey, we're inching closer and closer to that big battle, and you guys need to be ready. Overall, that scene alone made the episode a 10 out of 10 for me. We also went right into seeing a little bit more anime original content where Kanao is arriving at the butterfly estate, and Shinobu starts to talk to her about like the situation at the Swordsmith Village, about the situation with Nezuko, and then also she entrusts Nezuko to Kanao. She pretty much says like, I need to go to the master's house for this meeting. Can I trust you to like keep an eye on Nezuko, because she's target number 1 at this point. And I wish, honestly, since they added this was also not in the manga, that they would have fleshed this out a little bit more. I don't know if this point, when Shinobu was talking to Kanao, if Tanjiro was supposed to like still be unconscious and therefore everyone's kind of working together to take care of her, or if it's just simply because Tanjiro is bedridden, like his bones are still healing, his foot is, as Goto said, his bones are pulverized, which was really funny. And he just like obviously can't watch her if she wants to leave the room that he's recovering in. But outside of that, I would have liked to see Kanao actually like do something with Nezuko. Kanao was not in the episode at all after this, which was a little bit disappointing, but it's okay. I don't think there was a ton more like anime original content. I would have to reread things because it's been a while since I've read the Hashira Training Arc. I do think that they definitely made the order of things very different, and they're very much sitting on everything and really lengthening it out, which I like. I don't know what they're planning to do with this season still. I don't know if it's going to be a full length season and they're just really adding a lot and like stretching things out, or if it's going to be, you know, episode 2 is going to air and they're like, by the way, there's only like 3 more after this. And we're like, oh, okay, that's short, but okay. I don't really know what the plan is, but they're definitely sitting on a lot of things, stretching things out, and it was really, really nice. Tanjiro is so funny and derpy in this episode. As a Tanjiro lover, I love him when he's badass. I love him when he's taking down demons, but I really love to see him just be silly for a little while. I gotta say, I think 80% of this episode he was stuffing his mouth full of food, and it was freaking hilarious. I was just sitting there the whole time thinking about like how that recording goes in the studio. Like, is Hanai-san just like standing there stuffing his face, or is he like phantom eating? Like, okay, Hanai-san, like it's time for you to record your lines for Tanjiro. Anyway, Tanjiro was just cute and derpy. They also added a lot to Nezuko, talking to Zenitsu. She like surprised him when he arrived back from his mission. It was really, really cute. And she was like, oh, Okairi, which means welcome back. And oh my gosh, it was just so cute. They also added a little blush to her. Like she's got a little crush on Zenitsu. Oh my god. It was super cute. I loved it. And those are just like little things that you don't notice in the manga or that they just added. The Hashira meeting was done very, very well. It was very, very specific to the manga. It pretty much went exactly the way I expected it to, where they talk about the fact that there is a caveat to the mark. However, they don't explain it in the Hashira Training Arc because we're going to find out about that caveat much later on in the story. And then there was one scene, I think, again, this was anime original, where Amane is talking to Kaguya. And Kaguya is like, he's not doing well. He's completely bedridden, barely able to talk. And Amane goes on to say things like, your children and I understand your desire to defeat Muzan Kibutsuji, and we are on board. Like, we trust you, we believe you, and we will do whatever it takes. Us manga readers went, the foreshadowing! I'm not going to say much because I don't want to like dip into spoilers, but if you are an anime only, hang on to those statements because they're going to mean something soon. And again, I don't think that was in the manga, so like my friends and I were sitting there like, oh my god. The foreshadowing. Ufotable's adding a lot of foreshadowing into this show, and I love it. Overall, it was really, really good. The OP was really good, and honestly had some surprising moments in it for me, specifically the end of the OP. Again, we're foreshadowing things. It gave me the same feeling as when I saw the end of the OP for Swordsmith Village, where it was Nezuko's bamboo just sitting on the ground. The foreshadowing in that, and then the foreshadowing at the end of this one, it's a big deal. And they're doing a really good job at like showing us truly like this arc is going to feel very quiet and very like non-exciting. It's a training arc, it's gonna like take us back a few steps and let us just chill with the characters while they train. There is still going to be a lot of character development and a lot of character backstory that's going to have us in tears as well. But it's just a time for us to really just take a breather and enjoy ourselves with the characters. But they're doing a really good job at still like there is always in the back of everyone's mind that things are about to go down. And it is said a few times. It is, clearly just the way characters are acting. You can feel it. It's not just dialogue. Oh, yep, like we're about to hit a big battle. That does happen. Like they do say things like that, but there's also just a feeling in the air that things are about to go down. And that starts out with the way the episode starts, really with that whole situation with Sanemi and Obanai and finding the Infinity Castle. That right there is just like, oh my god, we're getting so close to the big battle. And it just makes me so excited for what's to come. But overall, I give it a 9 out of 10. I'm not going to give it a 10 out of 10 because then I have my standards too high. It was really, really well done. Ufotable continues to just completely blow my mind with the way they animate things and the way that they're adapting the story so well. I'm super thankful to be a Demon Slayer fan. Again, if you are interested in seeing it, it is 50% recap, 50% new content. So if you want to spend the $15 to go, then go. If you don't, then don't. It's not really going to matter in the grand scheme of things, but do what you think is best for yourself and have fun. Otherwise, we wait until the spring.